All right, here we go. All right, so this is a beat breakdown, and this is for World Emcee. Shouts to Armani, shouts to World Emcee, everything they do for the music community. And what we're doing today is basically just breaking down one of the beats that I put out on a recent beat tape called 14, and the beat is called On It. And On It is a sample of a Cut Close record from 1994. And for those who don't know, Cut Close is a group that was signed by Key Sweat. Key Sweat's on this song as well. And yeah, like I said, from 94. It's on an album called Surrender. And yeah, so I'm going to show you guys what I did. So this is the session right here. And what I started with for this beat was actually just chopping up the sample. So this is the original sample down here. And let's see. And what I basically did was found a few sections of this song. This song is super smooth. And I found a few sections of it and basically just chopped them out. And as you can see, you could literally see the empty spaces in the original sample file over here as well. So I always listen to the whole track all the way through. I'm not one of those samplers that just samples the intro or the outro or something. I do like to actually get to know the record and obviously make sure I listen to it from front to back to make sure I find the best parts of the sample. So for that one, what I did was chose to chop out these parts. So I started off with this. It's pitched up as well. And I ended up just using that for the intro, as well as a certain section over here that comes, which is like the section B of this beat. So I also chopped out this version, or I'm sorry, this section. And I actually only chopped out 3 sections, as you can see, and I labeled them Get Up 2, and Get Up 3. And the third section that I had chopped out was this one right here. No, that shit is hard. I originally had that in a section of its own with the drums on top of it, but I decided to make that sort of a turnaround. And chopped it in there and kind of rearranged it differently than the original track, obviously. So what I do usually is just chop out the sections I like and then arrange them in my own unique way, and whatever sounds good for me. So that section was used minimally. It's the green section right here, and I use that just for that turnaround in the melody. And then section A and section B, if you want to call it that, are the 2 biggest sections that, melody sections. So after I established where I wanted to put all of these melodies, I started off with, I grabbed some 808s and just started tuning up 808s to the melodies that I chose. And what I usually do is, to speed up the process, I use a tuner, and I'm pretty sure every DAW has a tuner of some sort. Mine is just called Tuner, and it's in Studio One, and which is what we're operating right now. Studio One's made by PreSonus. I've been using it since 2016, and it's great. And I've been hooked on it. I started on FL, but this was the only thing that really got me to switch Even after trying Ableton and Logic, Studio One just stuck with me. But anyway, so I put a tuner on the melody, and this is what it'll look like, as the melodies move. So you'll see the tuner is obviously giving you the key of, every melody switch. So I don't know music theory like that. I studied it for 1 semester in school. So I don't have that vast knowledge of it. So what I do is use this tuner to just match up, on the grid, the same exact bass notes and, at the same exact pace of the melody. So, at the beginning of this, I started to add these bass notes right here. So I'll put the tuner on the bass notes, and then just started matching it up on the grid right here. So. Sounds like this soloed. Yeah, so I played this bass line on my keyboard, and just played it 1 note at a time and match that up with the melody, and it ends up coming out smooth. So we got, I'll play it one more time with the melody and the bass line. Then once I realized the bass is good, once I realized that bass sounds good to me, then I get to the kicks and I start, forming some drums on top of that. That's at least what I did for this time. So the kicks was next for me. So, I recorded these right here. Let's see. Just something. Nothing too crazy. Got a swing to it though. The kick's moving good. The 808 line is moving good. So then after that, you got to get a little high end in those drums. So I started getting some hats. So I have various hats that I've saved over time, hat loops, things that I've come across that are my favorites, my personal favorites, and some of my go-tos. So I chopped up some hat loops right here, added these in. Alright, and those hats kind of sound like shakers too, so it adds a nice little swing to that. And then we just keep building up these drums. I'll add a stick to it now. So now those drums sounding good. They got that stick. That's a pitch down stick from another drum loop that I tend to pull sticks from. And I like sticks opposed to snares just because they slice through the mix differently and sound a little bit better to me. But yeah, so what I did after that, that sounded pretty good to me. Kept building on it. So we got some crackles right here. And what I like to do is add vinyl crackles to my beats. Sometimes the real ones, most of the time it is real crackle from vinyl that I've recorded that I just saved, and actually start to use that in the future with layering it on my beats to make it sound a little bit, just a little bit crackly, a little warmer. So this is what I got for vinyl loop, and I know other producers do this as well, but this is how I do it for sure. So regular vinyl crackles. So when we hear that together with the beat, sounds a little warmer. And you may not be able to hear that, but that's that type of layer that does, pull the beat all the way together. The naked ear can't really hear the sound when it's, layered up like a sandwich, but yeah, it adds a nice little warm texture to it. So after that, I kept building up these drums, and snare rolls are something that play a big role in my drums, and when I'm constructing drums. And snare rolls to me is what really adds so much swing to drums. So what I tend to do is just go to other drum loops and chop out snare rolls from that drum loop, and then layer it with drum loops that I'm creating, original drum loops that I'm creating by myself. So I added this snare roll right here, this green layer. Just that. A little bit more movement to it. So we'll add some perks in. So what I like to do is add sometimes 3, 4, 5 layers of percussion to get the drums really moving how I want to get them to move. So for these, I started to add, as you can see, I titled it Mo Perks and Metal Perks. And so for these, this is what these perks sound like right here. And also these. Now these metal perks I use a lot, because when you layer that metal sound on top of a snare or a stick, it slices through the mix even better and it sounds hard. So added that in there, and that metal perk was the last layer I added to the beat. So after that, I just start to layer it up and then deconstruct it basically from there. And then what we got is a full beat here that lasts 2 minutes and 43 seconds. So I'll play it from the top, but this is only 12 layers, what I just went through. And this is one of my most big sounding, one of my more bigger sounding beats that I've put out as of late. So, when I go through this session, I want to show that you don't have to overproduce. You don't have to have 20 plus layers. You don't have to have 20 plus channels of work to make your work sound big and to make it slap. I always think less is more. So if you got your essential layers in there, it's definitely going to snap. It's going to, if you got your bass, if you got your kicks, you got your snares, you got your hats that add that movement to it, if you got percussion in there, and if you got a good melody or a sample chopped up in the way that you want it, then you got something right there, and that's pretty full. And that's when you know when to stop, when it sounds full and when it's slapping, and slapping how you want it to. So I'm gonna play this from the top. This one's called On It, and this just came out on my Beat Tape 14. Yeah, this one came out good. This is actually one of my favorite beats as of late. And yeah, I already released it, so that's everywhere. That's on Spotify, Apple Music, Bandcamp, SoundCloud, YouTube, every streaming platform you can imagine. And that's called On It, and it's by Sum Total. That's me. So thank you to World MC. I appreciate y'all. As always, everything you do for the music world and continue to do, worldwide. So I hope everybody enjoyed this breakdown, and go stream that. Yeah, peace.